Tyla surprises Chris Brown during his Residuals concert. As Chris was performing, Tyla pops up on stage and hugs Chris Brown from behind. Chris Brown, startled at first, turns around, surprised. His face lights up with a smile as he lifts Tyla up and kisses her passionately, forgetting they were on stage. Get a room. Yet, this is not the scene you'd expect at one of the biggest industry events of the year, where Chris Brown, the undisputed king of R&B, the man who set the bar for performances, the one who can shut down any stage, was living his best life. The crowd was roaring, the cameras were flashing, the energy was electric. But then, something happened. Something that caught everyone off guard. In walks Tyla. And no, we're not talking about just any artist here. We're talking about the rising star who's already making waves and turning heads in the music scene. But here's the twist. This moment changed everything. And trust me, you won't believe what went down next. Stay tuned, because we've got the inside scoop on what really happened when these two stars crossed paths. Let's paint the picture here. It's an industry event like no other. The event everyone wants an invite to. Chris Brown, the man who's conquered stages across the world, is on top of his game. He's got the fans, the hits, and a legacy that's pretty much untouchable. We're talking about a man who's turned his name into a brand, a pop culture icon. And that's where we are. Chris is owning the spotlight, commanding attention in every direction. Everything's going according to plan. But then, something unexpected happens. Enter Tyla, the newcomer who's already starting to cause a buzz in the industry. Probably heard of her by now. Her hit singles are on repeat, and she's got a vibe that's impossible to ignore. But what happens when she steps into a world already dominated by the likes of Chris Brown? Now, this is where things get real interesting. Tyla's entrance didn't go unnoticed. Not by fans, not by the media, and definitely not by Chris himself. Now, Chris is known for his confidence. He's been in this game long enough to know that there's always going to be someone trying to take their spot. But here's the thing. Tyla isn't just another artist trying to make a name for herself. She's got the talent, the looks, and the fire that everyone's starting to notice. So, what happens when two stars, both with major potential, find themselves in the same room? There's a moment in every celebrity's career where they have to ask themselves, who's the next big thing? And am I ready to share the spotlight? Well, Chris Brown might have had that exact thought when Tyla walked in. And the tension? You could cut it with a knife. We all know the industry can be ruthless. The spotlight is constantly shifting. One minute you're on top of the world, and the next, someone new is right on your heels. Tyla's been pushing into that space with some of the most addictive tracks of the year. Her sound is fresh, her style is unique, and the buzz is only getting louder. And let's be honest, Tyla is one to watch. She's got that it. The factor that every artist dreams of. Chemistry, the energy, it's undeniable. But does that mean she's ready to take on Chris Brown? That's the question on everyone's mind. Now, we don't know exactly what Chris was thinking at that moment. Was he sizing her up, feeling the heat? Maybe, just maybe, he was acknowledging that the game has changed, and he's not the only one setting trends anymore. After all, he's seen this story before. Naturally, the fans were quick to react. Social media exploded with opinions. On one hand, you had people praising Tyla for stealing the spotlight. Her breakthrough had been nothing short of meteoric, and her fresh take on R&B was being hailed as the new wave of the genre. Critics were quick to label her the future of R&B, saying that it was time for a change and that Tyla represented something new. A voice for a younger generation. Her style was both soulful and experimental, blending classic R&B with modern influences, which resonated deeply with listeners who were craving something that felt both nostalgic and innovative at the same time. But on the other hand, Chris Brown's die-hard fans weren't having any of it. To them, no one could replace the king of R&B. Chris had long established himself as a dominant force in the genre. Known for his signature blend of smooth vocals, dynamic dance moves, and an unparalleled work ethic. They flooded Twitter and Instagram, defending their idol, making it clear that despite Tyla's rising star, no one could dethrone Chris. The battle for R&B supremacy wasn't new. But this moment felt especially charged, as it marked the intersection of a seasoned legend and a rising star, each bringing their own energy to the genre. It was a war on Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere else. Fans were split. Some were saying Chris Rain is still going strong, that his legacy was too deeply ingrained in the fabric of R&B to be shaken. Others were calling for a changing of the guard, arguing that the genre needed fresh blood, new ideas, and a voice that wasn't bound by the past. It was like watching a tug-of-war between two generations of music lovers. Those who grew up with Chris Brown's anthems and those who were discovering Tyla's potential. And to be honest, this is what makes the music industry so interesting. The way new talent challenges the old guard. It's not a battle of good versus bad, but of two distinct energies, the experience and depth of a legend like Chris, and the innovation and raw energy of someone like Tyla. But here's where it gets really interesting. Despite all the chatter, the cameras, and the tension, nothing explosive happened. No backstage drama, no diva moments. Chris and Tyla didn't fight, but they also didn't become best friends. In fact, there was no major showdown, just a moment where two forces of nature, both at the top of their game, crossed paths. It's almost as if the rivalry between them existed more in the minds of the fans than in the reality of the situation. The whole encounter was a reminder that sometimes the most interesting stories aren't the ones that explode into drama. Sometimes it's the quiet moments where two people who have mastered their craft in very different ways come together in the same space. Chris carried on with his performance, bringing his usual energy and charisma to the stage. The crowd went wild, as expected. Chris had the crowd in the palm of his hand, with his timeless hits and magnetic presence. His fans cheered louder than ever, cementing his status as the face of R&B for over a decade. But Tyla, despite the comparisons, continued to shine in her own right. Her performance was raw, electric, and filled with promise. She may not have the extensive catalog that Chris has, but there was something undeniable about her presence. Her voice was distinct, her stage presence magnetic, and it was clear that the future of R&B was in capable hands. But one thing became clear. The future of R&B is about to get real interesting. There's room for both of them to dominate, and it's going to be exciting to see where the next chapter leads. Tyla is poised to bring something new to the genre, but Chris is still the one setting the bar for what's possible in R&B. They are both incredibly talented. They're both pushing boundaries in their own way. Whether it's Chris's high-octane performances or Tyla's innovative sound, there's a lot of space for different expressions of R&B to thrive. The competition may be fierce, but it's this kind of healthy rivalry that drives the genre forward. So, what did we learn from this encounter between Chris Brown and Tyla? Well, for one thing, the music industry isn't static. It's always evolving. The legends of today might find themselves sharing the spotlight with the stars of tomorrow, and that's exactly what we're witnessing with these two. The truth is, the music industry thrives on change. It's a reflection of the culture, and culture doesn't stand still. It shifts, it grows, and it reinvents itself. What was once popular fades into history, while new sounds and voices emerge. To take its place, Tyla's rise is a symbol of that shift. She's not trying to replace Chris. Rather, she's offering something different. Something that represents where R&B can go next. It's not about one person dominating the game. It's about pushing each other to new heights and keeping the creativity flowing. Chris Brown and Tyla are both talented artists who bring their own flair to the genre. And the real winners are the listeners, who get to enjoy the best of both worlds. The future of R&B doesn't lie in one artist or the other, but in the way they both continue to evolve. Both Chris and Tyla have a long road ahead of them, and honestly, we're all here for it. The competition is healthy, and it only makes the genre stronger. With Chris continuing to set the standard and Tyla introducing fresh ideas, R&B has a bright future ahead. But now, I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is Chris Brown still the king of R&B? Or is it time for Tyla to take her place at the top? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is the reign of Chris Brown unstoppable, or are we witnessing the dawn of a new era in R&B? What does the future of the genre look like to you? And hey, if you loved this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the hottest gossip and insights in the world of music. Trust me, you won't. Want to miss what's coming next?